Welcome back. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV with Ring Diaries. And before we went for the break, we're discussing about remarrying, and we've seen how the dynamics of how you go through it makes a difference. If you handle it badly, you are going to end up in a bad situation. But if you handle it well, the way Abraham did, you can actually have a very successful transition. But then after, the conversation now turns, what if it is the woman? And they remarry. And we've seen in the Bible, yes, it happened well. But in our society right now, let us get to our society. This woman wants to remarry. What should they do to make sure there's a successful transition the same way Abraham did? Alice, you can start.
As the lady come first.
Yeah.
Yes, I also think, just like we talked about Abraham, making things clear, I think one of the characters of God is that He's the way, He's the truth, and the life. So if there is truth from the beginning, be it on the side of the woman as well, you can make it clear to the man and say, yes, we are remarrying, but I have my 2 children. These children, I cannot separate from them. I actually wanted you, if you can, to father them, so that they become part. I don't know, but to me, I don't even see a scenario where you start separating and saying, these are my stepbrothers, these are my
most women will leave the children on the other side and go alone.
Exactly.
They won't even wait for that discussion to happen.
So to avoid these children also feeling abandoned, you have to throw them there. This is a life that you are breeding. And sometimes when we don't sort these things at childhood, those are problems that come up in the future.
Yes.
So even the children need to feel they have their mother's love. You're coming, yes, as the man, but the children are still, this is their mother. That is what you need to understand. So it's better to embrace them and welcome them. They might not live with you on a daily, like we've seen what Abraham did, told the children of Keturah to go far away. Maybe you can father them from somewhere else. Depends. You agree, sit and agree. Let truth be the backbone of your discussion. Maybe involve the children depending on their age as well. Let them be part of the discussion. How do you feel? Would you be comfortable if we move into the new daddy's home? The new daddy's home? Or you'll be welcome, or maybe daddy's like, any day, anytime you're welcome. Visiting days, school days. Let them feel that the father and the mother are still part of their life, regardless of where they are. So I think these open discussions, which are not easy,
They're not easy.
they're not easy to talk about, because people even hide their children. They hide from the new person.
Yes.
You want to hide because he has loved you the way you are. He doesn't know you have children, so you keep it a secret, and the secret cannot be kept for long.
Yeah.
What does the Bible say? Whatever is in darkness, one day it will come to light. So why don't we table this before it even comes up the wrong way and talk about it, because it will surely come.
Yes, and of course, really the truth. She has mentioned it. I know a couple who is they may found themselves in Kampala, and she married him, never told him that I have 3 babies at home. In fact, she said, I'm a virgin. So then
God.
one of my friends visited the girl, and he was like, hey, how are children in the village? She took him outside, that as a visitor, please come and visit, but discussions on children should never happen. What happened? About 2 months later, the mother in the village calls, and the husband picks. And then he tells him, please tell that woman that the child is sick.
Hey, Jesus.
Let her send the what? The man. The husband like, which child? Hey!
The third one.
And the marriage was over. So the issue is now truth.
Be open
Truthfulness.
about
Of course, I do counseling, and one of the things I ask is whether you have a child from another relationship, whether legal marriage or not, and whether this person you are marrying
is
willing. One is aware, but also willing to take that child on. In case they are not willing, then what are you going to do with that child? So that's the truthfulness. Then secondly, I have written and I have read all these dictators come out of wedlocks which had a challenge. Like it mean, you grow up just as an orphan, Emmanuel Noriega, an orphan, so that they grow up thinking that life is difficult, and when they are killing, when they are abusing people, the reason is because I never grew up in a family. That's why for me, family TV is a TV we should watch. Why? Because it promotes family values. So the moment I grow up from a dysfunctional family, no mother, no father, any of those, let me tell you, you grow up and life does not really matter. Looking after your wife or children is not because you grew up after all and nobody cared, so you won't care about them. And it is possible that the situation we have today is a result of this function families. So children matter. Children matter. Children matter. I mean, again, we have already sent them away, but I guess sending them away is in the court at a distance, and I know he was looking after these children.
Sure.
So even if we choose to put them out of the marriage,
Yes, we must take care of them. In Exodus chapter 2 and I think verse 9 and 10, it was one of our themes, Church of Uganda, that take care of this child. Moses, take care of this. In other words, children need care. So, for us to have now a good future, we must take care of these children. So if you're a woman, you've lost your husband, or for one reason things are tough, you've separated. Mind about those children. If you're a husband, things are tough and you have separated, still mind about those children, because we shall grow up and you have a Dr. Jasper who hates his father, who hates his mother, and then the Dr. Jasper will not be a good husband because the mind is women are like this, then I can't take care proper of my children, and now we have a generation of people who actually will abuse God simply because of what happened when they are children.
Very
So
Very
the procedure actually matters.
Yes.
How you handle this really matters. And I want that to stand out. I hope our viewers are understanding this. Many a times we keep the children out. I've seen someone who remarried and they forced the children to come on the wedding.
Yes.
And through the service, the children were crying. Like people couldn't understand, is it a wedding, a funeral? But because you have not listened to these children and you brought them in, and for that time actually the woman had died like 6 months. It was very fresh. So children cried.
Actually, the wedding I attended, it was about a year, but they were not sensitive enough. They wanted the daughter to be the one reading the what?
But why?
The lesson in the church.
But why?
The father was not very sensitive, and at that time she had to break down and move out, and we had to substitute the reading. Meaning, please be sensitive.
Yeah.
I know you would want to
involve
remarry, blah blah, but be sensitive.
Sure.
That my mother died last year. For
For
her, she was already. But I would hate for a call from my father that, by the way, the house. And I'm not saying that I have no capacity. Yes, and even when I was in the village recently, my dad wanted to use the land in the courts for my mother, and he was like, hey, can I? You get it?
Yes.
There is a discussion, and that I'm consulted, and it is okay.
Right.
You get it? And people who stay and live home, like this morning I was discussing with him, right, let's take that young man whom my mother was looking after to a college so that he learns skills, and we are together in this.
You're part of that.
But he's not now that she has gone, she has really gone. And those children now, let me address children, especially of Kampala.
Yes.
You lose your mother and you never go back home.
Yes, and that is
Sure.
By the way now,
I
think another talk show
I also don't know if I
will
would
be
go back home. So it is.
another talk show, Phiona, now will be how do you behave when you have lost one parent? So that even children
Know that they have
are
a
part of this
responsibility.
equation.
Yes.
That I
Very
can't
true.
prevent daddy from marrying or prevent
because
daddy
I
from
can.
using this. Why? Because it is all now depending on.
Sure.
It is like an hour triangle. Yeah.
We are all together in
Yes.
this.
We are in this together. I think for me that is the confidence we need to
Yes.
give the children. And also with time, we can agree to disagree.
Yes.
We can maybe come together. It's not a must that when the families come together, they will agree and everybody will be happy. At one point, some people might not be happy. They might not be comfortable with the decision. But the fact that they have been involved and they are part of it, to give them time also to heal and accept whatever. We always pray, God, help me accept the things I cannot change.
Yes.
You can't change the fact that the one spouse has passed on.
And their covenant
And
is
they're,
done.
yes, you might not change that, but how do you accept now the new person who is coming
But for me, I
in?
think it's a hard paper.
It's a hard paper. That's
why
why we cannot even judge. If you step into the shoes of the one marrying, you will understand. If you step into the shoes of the children, you will also understand.
And the one getting married.
And the one you will understand. So everyone is right in their own way. But how do we harmonize all these ones? So at the end of the day, the Bible says Abraham died a happy man. It means he knew the children were happy. Keturah was happy. Isaac was happy. Ishmael was happy. And everybody was happy. So at the end of the day, when everyone is happy, you die a happy man.
And he
You
removed
live a
this
happy
ring
life.
of Sarah.
Yes.
You see, recently, I met somebody. He passed away, but I can't remove the ring. Now, this is a sign of a former covenant.
Yes. Sure.
Now, you can't remove it. But the Bible is even clear.
Yeah. Till death.
Till death. Now somebody has died, but you still want a sign. So I'm married to a lady man.
Maybe you
And by
don't
the way,
want
this is a
to
serious
get married
discussion.
again,
Yeah, but you still remove it.
Okay.
Yes,
The sign of a
Then
covenant
they will come for
This
you.
sign
the
of a
covenant
covenant
has ended.
has ended.
We need actually to get rid of
Okay?
this. But
Yes.
can
Or
we?
put it in some other finger. Because surely this sign has ended. And you see that's why grief doesn't go away. But when I
We are
remain with
holding
this
back.
ring, I'm holding back. When I see this,
When I have the
I
pictures
remember
around.
the other one. When you marry, remain with this ring. And then when the other one does something bad,
You remember.
you begin crying on the ring. But if she was the one, she would have
She
cooked
is
this
not.
food better. She's no longer there. So in other words, whatever reminds you of the former. I'm not saying pictures, but generally, begin healing by removing whatever reminds you of the former.
And I think it also brings what Alice was saying. Put yourself in the shoes of the new person you're marrying. You still have the old ring. All the pictures are around the house. She enters and it is just a shrine for the old marriage. How does this person actually feel?
Yeah, you married once at 8 years, then she's saying drop children to school. In nursery.
Then the children then they start exactly grand.
It is
So
grand.
what do we do?
Capacity very face. Even the mother now should understand.
That
6
is
children in this old age is not good news. So when I reach heaven, I ask actually.
What were you? No, but where seriously thought
Keturah
about
was
it.
young.
Yes, she was young, but Sarah had one child.
One.
Then Hagar one.
One. Why are
Now
having
you push 6.
Yes, but
You out
maybe
to
she
do
was
the other one's time with 3.
I
maybe
think
God had
sometimes
blessed her. She
No,
was
also
gifted.
sometimes I think we need to have wisdom as women. Because I've also seen a woman who comes into a home, the man has 6 children, and his wife maybe died. And you also want to have 7.
How to do.
Like why?
The other one, of course, separated with the first wife. So I met him recently. He was telling me we have 7 children. I said, what?
Goodness.
Why?
Hey, we were looking for a boy. I said, did you get him? No. I said, thank God. But you know what we are dealing with? Are intricacies which are what? This lady, all she's doing is I want a cat.
A boy.
A boy.
Because you have a boy with the first child, most likely the
Exactly.
first wife.
Who is going to be the heir? Now you also want a heir.
Yes.
But now, as we've seen, everyone should have their own things. And for me, I hope our viewers have actually been able to understand that we need to have estate planning properly. If if you're going to get a second wife, be clear.
Yes.
Maybe these things are for this one,
Mm.
these things are, we can make others for this
Yeah,
one.
and by the way, even you know that the church
Mm.
does not support generally remarriage except when your
After
partner
death.
has died.
Mm.
That one is clear.
Yeah.
Although we sometimes want to twist it.
Mm.
In fact, Jesus says in Mark 10 and Matthew 19 that if somebody leaves a husband or wife and remarries,
Mm.
they have committed sin.
Yeah.
But of course, again, scenarios are
I've changed and
tough,
moved.
but we shouldn't compromise.
Mm.
I'm going to Parliament on 20th. We shouldn't compromise the biblical standard.
Right.
One wife,
Mm.
one husband
Until
death, not until divorce.
Mm.
Because
True.
people want to change it.
True.
And for me, that's
True.
my position.
Yes.
Until
Yes.
And as shocked as here, reading at First Timothy 5:14. So I counsel younger widows to marry,
Uh-huh.
to have children, and
Yes.
to manage their homes,
Yes.
so they give no enemy at an opportunity to slander them.
Mm.
And I think earlier on it's saying that younger widows, no widow may be put on a list of widows unless
And
she's
yes.
over 60.
Yeah, I mean, I preached that once.
Mm.
The reason
I think
is,
there's some parts of the Bible we
Yes,
don't
60.
read, man.
you asked for the age limit.
Six.
It is 60.
Mm.
When you are below 60,
Mm.
don't put them on this
As a
age
widow,
Mm.
yes.
social network. No, you are free to remarry. And according to the Bible, you haven't seen. And by the way, he adds saying that so that you don't bring the name of the Lord to disrepute.
Yes.
Mm.
Why? Because then hormones will go up. You
And
go and
just
sleep
go
around.
anywhere.
Others will begin actually gossiping. He talks about
Mm.
gossiping. So I think the age limit of the Bible is good.
It's 60,
60.
and that is
Mm,
good.
60.
Mm.
For
Above
men, I
60
think
is-
70.
What?
Yes, that's the widower.
Doctor.
Because
60.
above the 20, surely you get that young girl trouble. Except if you're Abraham.
But what
We
makes
have
us
very few
different-
Abrahams at
Yes.
175.
But we actually have few because you find. But my problem is especially church,
Mm.
and let me bring it home.
Mm.
When a leader in the church that maybe a reverend, maybe a lay reader, or the people in the church, the
Yes.
elders in the church, when they lose their spouses,
Mm.
the church tends to get them people to marry.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is the context. Because I know one bishop
Mm.
who had refused to marry, but then he went dressed in, I'm using the word bishop, but then
Mm.
when somebody checks his socks,
Mm.
They're
they are
different
different colors.
Mm.
And they just told him, no,
You
man,
need help.
you need some help.
Mm.
Because again, there are certain helps that can't
Yeah.
Be done by
be
anyone.
done by anyone. But then secondly, our children now
Yeah.
do not look after us. I am normally, when I
True.
check my old man at home, 99 years, 100, if my wife and me
Do not.
never looked after him and getting a young man to come and bathe him, what?
He would-
The
how would
question
he
is,
be?
how would he survive? So two things. One is, again, the context. Two is the social network. If these children cannot support a father or a mother,
It is advisable.
then it is advisable
Yeah.
that they do what? Marry. For Isaac, he was right. When the mother died, he moved. And then the Bible says in chapter 24, in fact, the last verse says, that he brought Rebecca inside the house and comforted him. You get it? That young man needed a woman figure. So he couldn't have supported who?
The
Abraham.
father, yeah.
And therefore Abraham had to marry also. I guess also Abraham
Needed come.
was like, hey, who will put on the socks for me?
Yeah.
Who
I
will
can't
wash?
bend.
Who will wash what?
Sure.
This white hair. So in a way, I think it is the social network.
Yeah.
People around you. Are these children able to support you?
Yes.
Can I get a nurse? Like my mother died with a nurse 24 hours. So can we get that social network to support these elderly?
So if we cannot do that, we should allow
Allow
them to
them to
remarry.
marry.
Yes.
Because you failed the responsibility. Now what does
Yes.
a poor man do?
Sure.
So that is important.
Yes.
And my thinking, as we're talking about this, so that I think also that brings in David. David.
First
David also
Kings chapter 1,
in his old
verse
age.
1 to 4.
He also got a virgin.
Yes, but she remained a virgin.
That is also,
Yes,
that is also, yes.
For him to do the
It was just for warm.
First Kings chapter 1, 1 to 4. It was for warm,
It was
somebody.
just
She
for
came
warm.
as a blanket. And that poor girl, really.
No, that one is surely a poor girl.
Yes,
Because
the
one is
poor girl. I am gotten to the king,
to
who
become
is
a
about
blanket.
71 years now. And then I'm a blanket until death. And then she's fought for by Solomon and Adonai or Abishai. Yeah, but they fought for her later. So
After
she
the
married.
father died.
She married, yes,
But she remained a virgin.
with David. But after David, Solomon.
The son took
Would you pass by Solomon?
Would you?
No. In fact, he killed his brother because he wanted Abishai, I think. Okay, I will check the Bible. But that's First Kings chapter 1, 1 to 4. She was gotten, but that's for to become a blanket.
But you see also how it brings conflict among the children.
Yes.
Very true.
Daddy brings a very young wife who is younger than my
And
wife.
daddy passes away.
Even before passing these days,
Yeah, Reuben.
my stepmother is
Yeah.
younger than my
Yes,
wife.
even Reuben.
Mm.
Genesis chapter 49, specifically verse 2.
Mm.
Reuben went for the
Because
younger girls of the father.
should also advise our fathers, if you had to choose someone.
Choose somebody who can't even produce.
Actually, we've had Ketra wanted here.
But Ketra wanted more.
Wanted her
She
children.
wanted
That's
6.
right.
But you see how bad it can become
Yeah.
if you're actually the person who has come in your mother's shoes is actually even younger
Yes,
than
by the way.
Can they
And
mother
those
you?
are challenges, of course, even sexuality
Yes.
of those two can't match.
Can't match.
Then, so I know at least the bishop, he got the widow.
Yes.
You get the Mandela style.
Yes.
Teresa Michelle has lost the husband.
I've also lost a wife.
The wife is there, we have separated.
Yes.
But now we are all old.
Mm.
So nobody will blame another. And Teresa Michelle and Mandela remain together. Nobody knows what was happening in the bedroom.
They could have
But
been
I
just
guess they would
blankets,
appreciate
but
one
it's
another.
okay. Yes.
Yes.
And companionship.
Yes.
So it's also important the ages we are.
The age, yeah. Yes.
Okay. So as we come to a close with this, I wish we could go on and on because I feel like everything we start is a new topic.
Sure, it's another show.
The things that we should consider as we are considering to remarry. At least things we think people should consider. Maybe Alice give us a few. What are those things you think someone should consider? Now first we're talking as children because we are watching our parents and the things if daddy was to remarry or if mommy was to remarry, what are those things that actually you think should be considered?
So basically, I would think whoever wants to remarry should not only look at themselves, but also look at the supportive environment around them. Because yes, you are marrying, but you're not marrying for yourself. You're marrying for your children. Maybe you're marrying for a ministry.
Yes.
Maybe you're marrying for a business. There are so many other factors that other people are parties to. And they have contributed to you as well. So when you bring in a new person, that person's impact on whoever concerns you matters. Because it can take you forward or can take you backward. And that can, it's actually a build or a break moment. So, yes. And also like what we've seen Abraham doing. If everyone who has contributed to who you are is a stakeholder, involve them.
Yes.
They might not support what you want. Yes, it is true, it's okay. They might not support it 100%. But let them know.
And understand.
Be clear from the very beginning. You don't like this person, but it's the one this is the person I have chosen. The Bible says that the widow should marry someone she likes. So the person is going to be the one who likes.
The liking is
Maybe the
important.
church is like, this one is the one who has been in the ministry. And the church is fronting somebody else. Maybe the children also know someone and they would prefer that person for their father.
And that one is more of a man.
You know, this one is, we are even close. We even already have a relationship with this person. Maybe society also, according to them, There's someone they see who is fitting, and all those in your heart that is not befitting. You also have your own choice. But because they are all involved in your life, and they all have a say, and they are all affected by your life, involve them. Sit with them. Be open. Let's have these open, not very nice discussions, but have them.
The hard discussions.
The hard
but
talk.
yet we need
Yes,
them.
we need them. Let's talk the things that everyone wants to hear, that would bring questions to the children, that would make people indifferent about what is happening. Let's answer them. They are hard, but let's face them.
Okay, thank you very much. And for Doctor, for me, the last question I want to ask is, if the person wants to remarry and the children are against the remarriage, what would you advise them?
Yeah, just to add on what she said, consider even the period. Period means the time after the death of the other one. Because time heals, that's what people say. So the period, then secondly, again the person is involved. Engage them. I know a reverend lost a wife about 24 years ago. He married when the last child was at the university. But still there was resistance. But we really sympathized with him steadily. And children later were like, let's attend. But he had loved so much that they couldn't imagine anybody entering their home, and the ladies normally are against such. Then number 3 is the place of marriage. I mean, again, Abraham couldn't have married in the same house. For Petra to enter same bed. So let there be some place. It's like yonder, so that memories do not affect the children. Then finally, protection. We have already talked about it. We need to protect the children, protect that woman, protect also that man. Because you see, shielding people against crisis means we are protecting them against long-term grieving. There are those who even enter death when they are grieving. So the purpose is so that we protect. So when children are saying no, let's find out why they are saying no, and we protect them. When the father is saying I must, let's find out why. And then when the caterer is coming in, let's also understand that this woman was 40 years and she had already given up. So she was on God send anyone, and he sent Abraham. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much, Alice. And thank you very much, our viewers, for being with us for this show. And I know it must have triggered some questions in your mind. Let us go out and have those discussions, and you'll be amazed at the outcome. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV with Ring Diaries.